Saturday's class also, we're going to be ending with meditation. Some of you requested, so let's do it that way. This way you get into the habit of meditating regularly, okay? But we'll end the class little early so that you get to ask questions the same day. All right, so good morning. And today's topic is mind. You can call it a mind or focus or attention or concentration, because all of that we do it with the mind. We say this mind word so much. Mind is part of our subtle body. The rishis, what did they say? Maneva manusyanam karnam bandh moksha. Right?
Repeat that.
Yeah, maneva manusyanam karnam bandh moksha. So, mind is the cause for our bondage, and it could be the cause for our liberation also. So that's why it's very, very important to know what this mind is. Even in the worldly spheres, success depends upon the mind. If we can focus properly, if we can pay attention properly, we can really bloom in this worldly sphere also. That's why we tell our children, we teach them how to focus, how to pay attention. But what are the obstacles? How come we cannot focus? And how to manufacture this focus? Yoga teaches us all. This is called a yoga psychology. Attention and concentration according to Patanjali Sutras. How can we build up our attention span? And what is that which is holding us back? According to the yoga psychology, you are capable of 5 states of mind. We all are capable of that. Number 1 is called a mood state. Mood means dull, lazy, indolent. This is a tamasic state. We need to get rid of it. Mood state. Second state of mind is a Kshipta state. K-S-H-I-P-T-A. Kshipta. Kshipta means restless, distracted. I would even say that it's extremely restless. Kshipta. So first one is dull, second one is restless. This kind of a mind cannot attain any success. The third state of mind is called vikshipta. So in front of a kshipta, put V-I. So V-I-K-S-H-I-P-T-A. Vikshipta. So this kind of a mind is scattered, but occasionally preoccupied. Vikshipta. A lot of philosophers, scientists, they remain in this state, vikshipta. So your mind is revolving around that idea, and you need to maintain and sustain your mind around that idea, vikshipta. So it's scattered, but it's still preoccupied with one idea. Then the fourth state of mind is ekagrat. Ekagra. Ekagrata. Ekagrat. That means concentrated. Or modern psychology will say in flow. So that means mind does not budge from subject stage of flow. That is the cause for success. You have more and more control over your mind. You move your mind when you want it to be moved. So in other words, it's riveted to your subject. That is ekagrat. Then the fifth state of mind is called nirudha. Nirudha. Nirudha state is mind is completely mastered. And this is due to practice of yoga. Yoga is chitta vritti nirodha. It's the same word, nirudha. No external agent is required for you to reach the highest state of awareness and concentration. It's all dependent upon you. So as yoga students, we need to make these last two, ekagrat and nirudha, as a natural state of mind, which they say default state. Okay, let me just repeat. Mood state, kshipta state, vikshipta state, ekagrat state, and nirudha state. These are all states of our mind. Our mind, that powerful instrument which we have gotten from this Prakriti. So you can see that attention is the property of your mind. Mind must be calm under all circumstances. If the mind is restless and shaky, you cannot do anything. See, you can develop the skills. Nobody is saying that you should not develop the skills to enhance your life. But mind must be calm. While enhancing the skills, if mind becomes frustrated, then you are the losers. So work on the mind. That's what the yogis say. And at the same time, develop your skill. Whatever skill you want to develop, that's fine. Three things remember. Power of concentration, purity of thoughts, and unflickering attention. When you put all these three together, concentration also, purity of the thoughts also, and an unflickering attention also, your attention will be riveted. Your mind will be moved only when you want it to be moved. That's the kind of a mind you want. That's why these three are so important. So if the mind has a clarity and concentration and attention, success is only in a matter of time. So that's why they say everything has to do with the mind management. We need to understand the importance of mind management. Even though this term sounds very modern to us, new to us, mind management. Our rishis in the olden times, so they talked about it. There's an Upanishad which we are going to go into after we do the Bhagavad-Gita, which is called Mundak Upanishad. In Mundak Upanishad, the Rishi talks about this mind management. He says with the mind management, you can attain Brahma. This is the verse number 4 of that Upanishad. Pranvodhanu sharohi atmaha brahm tat lakshyam uchyate apramaten vedavyam sharvathanmyo bhavet. Pranvodhanu sharo. Pranav, what is Pranav? Om. What is Dhanu? The bow. What is Sharo? That means the Atma. The Pranav is the bow, the Atma is the arrow, and the Brahm is said to be its mark. So the Pranav is the bow, the Atma is the arrow, and the Brahm is said to be its mark. This mantra says further, it should be hit by one who is self-collected. Who can concentrate it to that level where there's no flickering in the mind. It should be hit by one who is self-collected, and that which hits. If a person hits with that kind of a mind, this Rishi says it becomes like the arrow. One with the mark, that is the Brahma. So in other words, that there's a very vital idea in this mantra, very important idea. If you fix your attention on the goal by the stability of your mind, no restlessness in the mind, with the stability of the mind, you will attain the goal. And over here, goal is to become one with Brahma. So pierce the target, not just go close to the target, not just remain there close by, but pierce the target. That's what he's telling us. Pranavodhanu sharohe atma brahm tat lakshyam uchyate apramaten vedavyam sharvathanmayo bhavet. Beautiful verse. The whole mind psychology is in this. Mind management is in this. So if you fix your attention on the goal by the stability of the mind, that's why we do the Hatha Yoga also. That's why we do the Pranayama also. That's why we do the Dhyan and the Dharana. All of that is for this. So that we can pierce Brahm. So how do we do this? How to stabilize this mind? That is the very first thing. Because mind is a monkey mind. How do we stabilize it? We need to develop this control. Control of the mind is the central to the development. Control. And how do we control? What do we need to control first? We need to control our instincts. If we learn how to control the instincts, they become a reason. If we know how to control the reason is under control. It becomes inspiration. And if the inspiration is under control, it becomes realization. And that's what this mantra is talking about, realization. Even the animals are controlled. If you want to use the animals for a higher purpose, like the police dogs, I don't know whether you have seen it or not or heard about it. How do they control the dog's instinct? They line up the dogs over there and they bring the cat in front of them. And they make sure that dogs do not bounce at the cat, because it's the instinct of a dog to bounce at the cat. So if they do it with the animals, shouldn't we learn how to control it? So let me repeat it again. Instinct controlled becomes reason. Because we always say, be reasonable. But then the reason under control becomes inspiration. And inspiration under control becomes realization. So by controlling our instinct, bring your power in your hands. Otherwise, we are giving away our power to these temptations. And what are these temptations? Temptations are through these five senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch. Constantly. We smell something, we want to just have it. We see something, we want it. Control it. And that's where pratyahar in yoga comes into the picture. Control your senses. Senses are powerful tools too. But if we just let them loose, we lose our goal. So by controlling our instinct, bring your power in your hands. Control your ability to reason also. We just argue sometimes uselessly. We forget our ultimate goal. Control your ability to reason and use that power to align with the goal. That's how we develop the mind, management, and attention. See, all these five senses, they are the inlets to our mind. Inlets. Through these inlets, whatever the information comes, we do the activity. And then from that comes the memory also. Some of those impressions are stored in there. So remember, whatever you take through your senses become your thoughts and memories. We should handle all this very carefully. Only then our mind will be controlled. Because we want to control our mind. How do we control our mind? Control the senses. Okay? Because contents of the mind, if you want to really know what mind is, thoughts, emotions, drives, attitudes, impulses, those are all contents of our mind. They all depend upon your intake through the senses. So conscious control of the senses is the first step. Then your activity creates impressions. So that's why when we do the action also, we got to do the actions consciously. We got to pass through our conscious mind. Is this action needs to be done or not? Am I getting overly involved in something? Because whatever you think, right now you're thinking, it is depending upon your previous experiences, stored as the impressions, the sanskars. It just sprouts out as samriti, which is called memory. So it's all ours and that's all part of the mind. So we need to take a closer look at our thought world. This is our thought world. Our impulses also, drives also, attitude also, emotions also. This is the world by itself. But remember always that you are in charge of your mental world. We should have this knowledge. We should have this understanding that this is my world. Outer world, we have only limited control. Very limited. The further we go, the less control we have. But our own mental world, we should have more and more control. That's what a yoga psychology say. Few days ago, I mentioned two terms to you, which comes from, again, Patanjali's Yoga Darshan, Vritti and Pratyay. Pratyay word in the Upanishads also we see it, in Bhagavad-Gita also here and there we see that. So we should know what Pratyay is. First of all, Vritti is the mental fluctuation. Vritti. This Vritti and Pratyay means thought. So these are the two factors responsible for mind activity. So if you want to know your mental world, you got to know these two terms. Okay, just let me give you a little example of Vritti and Pratyay. You have a plastic sheet and you throw a ball at the plastic sheet. That ball is the Pratyay. And that warping which happens in the sheet is the Vritti. Got it? So thought hits and that fluctuation happens. So the mental fluctuation, the mind warps around the thought like a ball thrown at the plastic sheet. So warping is the vritti. So that's why we commonly say vritti means mental fluctuations. And it can fluctuate, keep on fluctuating if you don't have a proper control. You saw something, a yogi will see something, full stop, that's it. But an uncontrolled mind, see, yogi's mind is that, saw it, move on. Uncontrolled mind will keep thinking about it, and pretty soon, in a minute of seconds, the mind will go into the past or into the future based upon that particular sight. That is an uncontrolled mind, and those are the warpings, the fluctuations. Vrittis and pratyas are generating your mental world. Again, those are the powers of the mind. If your vrittis and pratyas are conscious and goal oriented, you will have a wonderful mental world. You will definitely go where you need to go, where you want to go, because you can have a beautiful world, beautiful thoughts, wonderful emotions, and you will enrich your life. And if the vrittis and the pratyas are out of control, then you are at the mercy of your compulsive thinking. Outer objects, they'll decide for you what you think and how you feel, which way you are going. In other words, mind is not in your hand, and that's not a yogi's mind. So you can see that mind itself is not neither good nor bad. It's just a tool. Vrittis and pratyas are not good or bad. They are tools. How you use those tools is dependent upon you. Unstable vritti plus dissimilar pratyay, that's an ordinary mind. Stable vritti, dissimilar pratyay is called a focused mind. Stable vritti plus dissimilar pratyay, concentrated mind. Non-fluctuating vritti, rising and falling at the same point, and the same pratyay is a meditative mind. So we need to generate this meditative mind. That's why meditation every day is very important. Same time, same place, same way, we definitely need to meditate. So the way to generate a concentrated mind is through the power of attention. Another thing I would like you to remember, I think I say it from time to time, attention is your own property. Vritti and pratyas could be dependent upon outside, because through the senses they are coming. But you can go towards the ekagrata if you remember that attention is your own property. Have a control over it. Attention rises within you. It's not dependent upon outside at all. It is ours, our property. Attention is a steady beam of your awareness, generated by your will. That is attention. What you pay attention to, that you become conscious of. You're sitting in your temple room, mandir room, and you are fully attentive. I am sitting at the feet of my Lord. You are fully conscious of it. It is your attention that maintains the stability of your vrittis. Because you're sitting over there, you are there to thank God, or maybe to ask, talk to God, or listen to God. Those are dependent upon that are your vrittis at that time. Who is paying attention? You are paying attention. That's why I said attention is who you are. So it is your attention that maintains the stability of your vrittis and decides upon the pratyaya. So it is through the power of attention that you focus and concentrate your mind. In Bhagavad-Gita, there is a verse in chapter 5, verse number 6, very popular verse, which is giving us the similar kind of a message. Lord Krishna says, Udret atmana atmanam na atmanam avasadhyet atmev hi atmano bandhu atma eva virupu atmana. That means if you don't train your mind, this mental mechanism, if you don't train, you become your own enemy. Ripu. There's a two words, bandhu and ripu. If we train our mind, the mind has become our friend. Untrained mind has become our enemy. So your mind is your number one friend or your number one enemy, sitting right inside you. We are trying to fight with the things outside, change the things outside, go from a place to place, person to person, never look within. What do we really need to change? Understand the importance of training your mind. It's often said that he is a man who is in charge of himself. And in charge means really the mind. But always remember, there's no point in learning concentration, attention, focus, if you cannot focus it on worthy goal. The goal has to be worthy. That's why Rishi Patanjali puts Yam and the Niyams as the first two steps on that ladder of evolvement in Ashtanga Yoga. You remember? Yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi. Worthy goal. Don't hurt anybody. Don't lie. Don't steal. Don't hoard. All those things. And then concentration. With that kind of a mind, if you concentrate, you are a true hero. Otherwise, you can be like a cause of the devastation, just like Hitler did, or some others did. They had power of concentration too, but their cause was not worthy. What are the basic techniques we can adopt on a daily basis? What can we do? See, understanding all this is important. Mind is a tool, very powerful tool. We need to develop all these, but how to do it every day, daily? Number one, give the right exposure to your mind. That's called a right ahar for the mind. Control of the ideas. There are countless ideas out there, but you are giving it to your mind. Is it a right ahar or not? Ahar means the food. Sure, for the physical body, we need the right food, but this is for the mind we are talking about. So that's why I said right kind of exposure. Right books, right movies, which will take us towards our ultimate goal. Rhythmic breathing and posture. That's how we control our vital energy. Because mind is directly related with our breathing pattern. Each thought is controlled by the breathing pattern also. If you get angry, your breathing changes. If you change your breath, your mind can become calmer. So that's why every day doing pranayama, it's a good breath. So that's why I said rhythmic breathing and posture, control of your vital energy. Number 3, right conduct or external behavior pattern. So that really means right emotions. If there's the right emotions, only then there will be right conduct. Behave properly. We are social beings. We live with people. We work with people. Entertainment is with the people. So we got to control our emotions. Right conduct. Another thing Rishi Patanjali talks about, Pratipaksha Bhavana. That means contrary thoughts cannot arise at the same time. So bring in opposite. If you are angry, bring in opposite of anger. If you are being jealous, reverse it right away. So bring in opposite and noble thoughts. This is called a cognitive reframing in modern psychology. Reframe it. We have the power to reframe it. We don't need anything from outside to change it. We can change it wherever we are without doing anything in the outer world. Pratipaksha Bhavana. Even in Hatha Yoga, we do that. When we bend forward, we always try to bend backward also. We stand on our feet all day long, then we do the Sarvangasana and the Shirshasana, opposite of that. When we bend towards the left, we bend towards the right also. Pratipaksha Bhavana is very important to keep a stable mind. Regulated lifestyle and habits. This regulation is important. Yogi's life is a very regulated life. Exactly same time yogi will get up and exactly same time yogi will sleep. Eating, drinking, meditation, studying, helping, everything regulated. So regulated lifestyle and habits, only then the mind will be like a yogi's mind. Another thing, have a noble self-image. We are part of God. Don't keep putting self down. I am no good. I'm a sinner. No. Sure, we have made bad decisions in the past. But image about ourselves, it has to be noble. Because we are God's kids or parts of God, whichever way you want to talk about. Our own Guruji used to say, Rishiyon ki santan. That means we belong to those great rishis, whether it was a Rishi Agastya or Rishi Vashishta or Rishi Vishwamitra. Those are the ideal images for us. And we all can be like that. Yesterday we read about Hanumanji, how he became God in one lifetime. Got to have the proper self-image. Higher impulses counteract the lower ones. So if you feel low, counteract it with the higher. Sometimes mentally, sometimes physically. Make a service as a habit, seva. Selfless seva should be very much part of our life. Never think that you are not strong enough or smart enough or rich enough. We all need to give back. Clouds give, rivers give, trees give, animals give. The whole nature is giving, but as human beings, we just want to take only. No wonder our minds are corrupted. No wonder, in spite of having everything, we feel depleted. Make a service a habit. Meditation and prayer, part of your life. There shouldn't be a day when you don't meditate. There shouldn't be a day when you don't pray. Deep thinking and studies. Try to go deeper and deeper into. This morning I was very happy to see a message from one of my students. I will not name her without talking to her. She is vacationing and studying Gita. She couldn't understand something. Last night she left a message for me that I'm confused about this verse. Please, can you elaborate? That is called a deep study. Even while vacationing, taking your Gita with you. And if you don't understand, we have all these tools with us now these days. We can ask questions wherever we think we can get the answer. But if we don't study ourselves, she mentioned the verse number. She wrote it in Sanskrit also. She had the English translation also. And she told me what the confusion is also. That is called a deep thinking and study. Just like every student wants a good teacher, every good teacher wants a good student also. I was very proud. Another thing you got to always remember, mind affects mind. That means have a good company. Holy people and holy places have very strong positive vibrations, which we can absorb. Understand the value of these people and value of these places. It's our responsibility to keep these places clean. And it's our responsibility to respect these holy people also. They don't need our respect, but we want to respect them for our good. Elevate yourself consciously. Consciously, we all can do that. So that's why these basic techniques, some of these you are doing it, but make sure you do it more consciously. It's very, very important. But the basic of all this is stability of mind. That's why I mentioned those 5 states of mind also. Another point I want to make, that mind is external to you. Mind is external. You are pure consciousness. Thoughts are objects to you. That's why you can watch them. Just like we are aware of our body, body is not aware of you. See, I raise my hand, I can see my hand, I'm aware of the hand. Is my hand aware of me? No. The same way, it goes with the mind also. Remember, all power is within you, all knowledge is within you, all concentration is within you, everything you require is within you. You just have to bring it out with a proper understanding, and that's all. I mean, we are looking for happiness. Sure, our real nature is happiness, but what a greater happiness than saying that I am in charge of my life. And that's how we become in charge of our life. That's how you evolve from humanity to divinity. Still your mind. Awareness will persist. Awareness means who you are, Atma. Awareness will persist and the thoughts will subside. But in order to do this, you need to practice. We haven't practiced it. We need to practice it more and more and more, then it just becomes a second nature to us. I think I will stop it here. And if you have any questions or some words you did not understand, please let me know. Otherwise, I will ask who is singing today. I always forget. Who is singing? Is Kamla or Rita?
Me. Namaste, Harshi. Me.
Who is
Rita.
me?
Rita.
Yes, Kamala is me too, by the way, right?
Rita.
Just kidding, Rita. Yes, Jyoti. Can't hear you, Jyoti.
Sujata has a question. Sujata?
Yes, Sujata.
Namaste, Harshi. I'm sorry I joined a little late. And so, I mean, forgive me if you've explained this in detail and I can talk to you later.
Sure.
But my question was that, from the earlier part of the talk, it seemed like first you have to purify your instinct, right? You began like that.
Yes.
So, and then to purify your instinct, you have to control your
Senses.
Senses. Is that what you're saying? Because
Yes.
I've never heard you sort of approach it from that direction before, from the instinct point of view.
Yeah, because a lot of people, they just instinctively do things, so we got to control those also. We don't want to just stay at the mercy of our instincts.
But aren't we trying to tune into our truest our instinct?
That is not called an instinct.
Okay.
That is called awareness. That's called Atma.
That's Atma, but I mean your Atma.
No, that is not called instinct. That's called your real nature.
Your real
your
nature.
Inherent nature.
So doesn't your inherent nature give rise to your true intuition?
Intuition is different than instinct. Intuition is higher. Intuition is called pragya.
Pragya. Okay.
Instinct is lower.
Instinct. So instinct is your baseline, whatever, your default position whenever
Right now it may be our default, but we want to make our default position as in
better.
Nirut and Ekagrat. That's why I mentioned those 5 states. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Go over these notes. Maybe
I
you
will. Yeah. No, I thought I've never heard you approach it from, I mean, from this side before, you know, I mean, and I think that.
No, I always say that don't live your life instinctively. Try to raise your intuition. Okay, instinctively we don't want to live. Instinctively, animals live instinctively, and that's why I gave the example. Even when they want to make the animals more productive, they even control their instinct. We are human beings.
So your reflexes, basically, by instinct you mean your reflex. Okay, I will listen to that part again.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Listen to that part, and then if you have a question, Sujata, definitely call me. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, Jyoti.
Rita.
Yes, Rita.
I just want to make a comment when you said about Ramayana, how much giving they were. There is a saying, they say, प्यार बांटा गया तो रामायण लिखी गई, संपत्ति बांटी गई तो महाभारत लिखी गई. So much giving they did to create that Ram Raj.
Yes, definitely. It's always there's a more completeness in giving. But somehow the society has been teaching us take.
Yes.
Yeah. When we stay connected with that higher power, then giving becomes our natural state of mind, default state, as they say it. Okay. Yes, Jill.
Nishta.
Yes, Nishta.
Hanji, namaste ji.
Namaste.
Good morning, everyone. Very good class, first of all. And secondly, I have 2 questions.
Sure.
One is ke bachon ke liye, kids ke liye, you know, many of them are characterized with ADHD and so on, which is all regarding attention. So what type of activities do you recommend for kids to, you know, concentrate?
Okay, make sure that, I mean, if they are, I mean, even if they are not Hindu kids, any child should pray every day. Prayer should be part of a daily routine. And then more regulated life. More regulated life. I would say even some of the exercises, doesn't have to be yoga exercises, but some physical exercises need to be done. These days, even kids and adults, too much time on the TV, too much time on the screen, do some physical activities. Okay. So normally what happens, I mean, it's sad, but this ADHD, the labels we are putting, it's because overexposure to their minds. That's why the attention is not there. Too much information. Little kids know so much these days. We really cannot change that. Society has changed. This culture's changed. At least as parents or as grown-ups, we can have some kind of a regulations in their life. That's what my recommendation will be. Pranayam has been, I mean, over the years, I have seen children who do pranayam and the neti, they do have a better control over their bodies and over their breathing. And the breathing becomes better. There's a control of the mind also. And you said, Nishtha, that you have another question?
Hanji, I do. You know, you've mentioned a couple of times that we should remain in the company of people who have a similar thought process and so on. So, you know, how do you help somebody else without interacting with them? Just as an example, like I have a friend who's going or has gone through a very bitter divorce. So she herself is extremely, extremely bitter. And it comes out in every conversation and so on. So I mean, without without interaction with these other people who are challenged and whom you might want to help in some way, how can you help them without interacting with them?
Yeah, no, first you got to interact with them. I mean, if it's your duty, if it's a close friend, sure, it becomes your duty. But strengthen yourself also. If you meditate yourself, you are at a better place. You can definitely that person also. And then maybe you can always find a good book for her to read. So I don't know what that your friend's background is, but sometimes good books, they do help people in the low, when they're at the low stage in their life. But if we want to help somebody, we got to definitely take care of ourselves first. It's almost like right now we are getting vaccinated, but still they are telling us, make sure that you are wearing a mask when you go out. Got to take care of ourselves, then definitely help others. And to fill up our cup, we need to be in a holy company. Then all this positive energy we have, definitely we should help somebody else too. This exchange keeps on going. But we should never go to that level where we deplete ourselves. Okay, helping somebody is definitely, I mean, that is a service, that is a seva, but doing seva consciously. Okay, so there's so many different ways you can do it. Okay,
Thank you.
yes.
Subodra, you have to unmute yourself, Subodra, first.
Namaste, Harji. This was, I just saw that, I was making these notes in that you had said a steady mind versus a meditative mind, okay? And so you had said the stable vritti and dissimilar pratyay makes steady mind, right? But then what is meditative mind? I missed that.
Meditative mind is a non-fluctuating vritti.
Oh, that is dissimilar no.
No, non-fluctuating. See, what was the vritti? Vritti means on that sheet, there's no warping.
Right.
So non-fluctuating vrittis, that means rising and falling at the same place.
But then would that be the same as stable vritti?
Stable vritti could be going at different places.
Oh, okay. Scattered, not being scattered. Acha.
Okay, so there is a technically difference between stable vritti and non-fluctuating vritti.
Can you give me an example?
Okay, you are looking at your favorite deity. Your stability is there. But sometimes you are looking at the head and sometimes you are looking at the feet. Non-fluctuating vritti, you are looking at only one place.
So you just look at the face of the mother or just face a face or just the one spot.
Yeah.
Then it should be only...
At the same pratyay. See, in the concentrated mind, there was a dissimilar pratyay. Because when you're looking at the face, different pratyay. When you're looking at the feet, different pratyay. In the meditative mind, it is the same pratyay. Same thought. Same thought. Nothing else.
So it will be steady vritti and dissimilar pratyay.
Yeah, that's a concentrated mind.
Is the,
okay.
No, I'm getting convinced. Sorry. I maybe make it simple. Like I said, if I just should I be a meditative mind or should I be
we cannot have a meditative mind unless we have worked on a concentrated mind.
Okay.
Before concentrated mind, a focused mind.
So
because most of the time we have an ordinary mind. Or not even an ordinary mind, we have a
very ordinary mind.
You can use the word. Okay, thank you, Subhadra. Who else has a question?
No, I just wanted one more, please. I just wanted one thing. How can you create with being so much dependent? Suppose you get out of your body image. I'm not the body, but I am the mind. when I'm saying aham, I am the mind, then I still become a prey to, I become a victim to the mind, right?
Mind, you always have that tool with you. So you got to, it's like not just a, once we did it, do it, that will be done. That's why I gave you the basic techniques. Those, all that list I gave you, we got to keep that in mind. Okay,
True.
then we have a more control over this powerful tool which we have.
So the mind cannot create stories in your head. You should not allow that to create stories in the head.
Yeah, exactly.
So that, okay,
exactly. We
thank
should
you.
have a, if it needs to create story,
Mm.
for a writer like a Urmila, when she writes, it should create a story.
Okay.
See, just like a sculptor or a painter, when they are doing something, they create it in their mind first.
Mhm,
Do you know how a sculptor creates that image? In the mind first, then sees it in that marble or in a stone, then chisel out what is not in the mind. So it was created in the mind first. It's not that we should not create a story, but if there's a need to create the story, create story. If there's a need to make a painting, see how does we have one of a great artist over here, Neeta. When she creates, I'm sure she creates in the mind first, and then she paints it on the canvas.
Oh, okay. Because sometimes I have the
Creation is very much part of us, but we should create consciously.
Okay.
What we do is we create unconsciously. And what are we creating? We are creating a very unstable mind and a very disturbed mind.
Mhm. So if you even have a little block of ice and you're carving, sometimes you just take a picture and you just start writing and drawing. But sometimes through your sculpting and chiseling, you might be able to find an image which God wants you to create.
Yeah. So, Batra, what we're gonna do?
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Yeah, no,
Thank
Rita
you.
is saying because 11:30.
I got it. Sorry.
And then after, no, you can stay on. And then after Rita's singing, if you want to ask more, questions are always encouraged, but we got to watch this time.
No,
Okay?
sorry. Thank you.
Another question, Jyoti, anybody?
No questions.
Okay, after
if you wanna
Rita,
do
if there's any
Purnamata.
question, stay on. I'll try to. I'm not saying I have all the answers, but I'll try my best. Okay, I'll let Rita.